With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give them the coziest scuba matching set, the real gift is this. And this. And this. This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give a gift that goes beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at Lululemon.com.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Amazon for all your gifting needs.
All right. Welcome. If you're a veteran and you are struggling or feel like you are leading towards a path of darkness, stop and think about those who are around you. Think about how they truly value you, how they will miss you. You are not alone. You need to talk to someone. Someone will listen to you. If you feel like you'll be a burden to someone, or feel embarrassed to talk to your inner circle or your friends and family, don't hesitate to dial the hotline at 988. And as a veteran, take option 1. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, thanks for jumping in and listening to us. Please subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast apps. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at _MisFit Nation. It's _MisFit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell. This will keep you up to date with our latest news, episodes, and of course, stories of our guests. Tonight's a special night. 194 episodes ago, I had this guest on. I don't really call him a guest. I call him a little brother. He's a misfit for life. We met on the battlefield in 2010 in Kandahar. You met him in episode 1, and he gave a great story then. He's back tonight. We're going to discuss a lot of things, but mostly we're going to talk about mental health and how the veterans are being treated, and maybe talk about ways we can get our way out of this and bring mental health to the forefront, and not just as a cliche, but as a way to help us all get out of that darkness and come to a better place. So without further ado, let's bring MisFit Byrd into this. MisFit Byrd, welcome.
What's up?
All right. So, Byrd, like I said, man, it's been 194 episodes since you've last graced us on the MisFit Nation. I know you've been busy. You're going to college, starting your next chapter of your life and your career. You have 2 daughters that have you going 2 different directions. One's a little older, one's younger, but they both got you running rampant. You started a physical journey, and now today your mental journey kind of hit the high point or low point, I should say, and I needed you to get on here, and we need to talk about this thing. So I know it was hard to get you to do this, and I twisted your arm, and I don't think you felt like you can say no. But...
you have a weird way of doing it.
Yes.
Twisting people's arms, especially mine, without me knowing it.
But here you are, and you're ready to talk, man. So tell us a little about how it felt to be that old guy in college and get through college and graduate.
Yeah, man, it was Actually, one of the things that I was thankful for about that experience is just being old enough to focus and zero in, and I think if I was 18, 19, 20 doing that same journey, man, I wouldn't have the focus, so it was cool, just having that maturity mindset. And that's just kind of the same way when I joined the Army, man. I was older. I didn't join right out of high school. And so that maturity edge that I had kind of put me ahead of the learning curve, or ahead of a lot of the curves. So it was good that I was able to focus in and have a lot of success there. I graduated top of the class, man, and it was all the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears just paid off.
And we expect nothing less of you. Blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, that's the first day I met you was after a recoilless rifle hit, and you were kind of knocked woozy on Fob
Yeah.
Wilson. It's the first day I met you on the plains of Kandahar there, and
Yeah.
then you wound up sucked into the MisFit Nation at that point and became a misfit for life.
For life. For life. Yeah, that's a for life, thing, man. I'm glad that we have that family. Just a lot of the things that I've gone through over the years, it's nothing but misfits to reach out, man. Hey, my number the same, and they'll call and remind me. And a lot of times when you're going through things, man, you forget all the tools you have in your toolbox, and it's just good to, have that misfit family to reach out and say, hey man, I'm one of your tools, man. I'm here. I get Whammy here. He's man, he's right there in the pocket. He's there every time. I've been able to reach out to you too. It's a lot of people that I've been able to kind of reach out to, or they'll reach out to me when I kind of go into my little, when I tend to go through mentally, man, I go into a little dark hole, man, and I don't peep out.
Definitely. And I mean, like you said, man, you didn't feel like you were the older guy. You were just the guy and leading forward. And now, like you said, Whammy's on, he's on the other coast now. He's hanging out in the other desert.
Yeah.
Mojave out there in NTC. Hopefully he's having a good time. I think that's going to be his last hoorah for his time in suit. And then he'll start doing great things on the way out and spend more time with his sons and have a great time playing baseball and probably rolling four-wheelers and stuff.
Yeah, I know he can't wait, man. That's exactly what I did after school. After you put in all that work, man, and the time that you're missing, and you only get one. You get one time that they're each year, that they're each of their ages, So
Right.
every year you only get one time, one opportunity, and you think about those years that you may have missed, and of course they're there to support you, and they're cheering us on, and they got our backs and sacrificing along the way. But once I got out of school, I decided that I had two choices. One, to either continue on trying to get my certification in an IT cert, which would have taken a lot of hours, time, and commitment. But then I thought about, man, I haven't really been able to chill and hang out with my family over the past 5 years I've been in school. And I thought, what, this is a great time, like you said, with what a Whammy to do, spend time with his family, his sons, baseball. And that's what I did over the summer. I spent just nothing but time and commitment and focus on my two daughters and family.
I definitely I've seen the pictures of you glamping like a fancy guy in there with Brink.
Yeah, I got a baby walker in, man. I can't just throw her in the woods, man.
Yeah, you gave her a tent right away. She didn't earn that yet, but you got to work from the ground to a cot and then get that tent. But you gave her you went to the top right away. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I gave her a skateboard right away. So you got to go higher than that skateboard.
That skateboard, she still rides that skateboard to this day.
As long as she don't get hurt, I'm good.
I know. I tell her all the time. I say, hey, if you have to get rushed to the hospital or doing this in the house now, you're gonna have to call Mr. Rich now. He's gonna have to give it to you.
And I'll get in trouble with Miss Gwen. So today, you hit the turmoil today. I mean, it's been working for a long time since I think 2015 when we both first got out, or you got a little out before me. We did that first road march up in Gatlinburg, And you were already hurting then. It wasn't like this is something that just started. You were already in pain in 2015. So that's 7 years at least of you dealing with the physical pain, and that weighs on you. And then everything else that's gone on in your life in that time, you've had a lot of things go on in those 7 years, a lot more than most people get in 7 years. And that weighs heavy on you. And then I think it's just coming to a head right now at this point now when you're asking for help. You're basically begging not people, the VA or the people that are supposed to help you for help.
Yeah.
And what are they telling you?
Yeah. I think today's call, they called me today to follow up about a secure message that I had sent. And today's call was probably the pinnacle, or probably spot on as far as how they've been speaking and talking to me over the years. And I think what I'm dealing with is I'll say what's going on, and then I believe they are, they're trying to use their black and white textbook, and they blanket how all the symptoms people should have, and they're saying, well, if you don't have these symptoms, then you don't deserve this care, or you shouldn't be, we shouldn't refer you to, these specialists. So, I think I'm being undermined, and it's not just me. I know it's not just me, because whenever I reach out, whenever I speak to other veterans, we have the same, very similar stories. They have a tendency to, like today's call was, hey, are you sure? Those type of, they want you to kind of rethink your pain.
Right.
And, and I'm just like, well, what do you mean? I'm sure. I've been dealing with this for years, and you have been my care team for years. So the thing that I'm really unsure about is my care team, so they want you to second guess and really say, oh, maybe I'm tripping about this, or maybe I'm, then another thing that happened during today's call was calm down, and I can understand calming down after, a few days of dealing with some pain, or maybe a month or so, but chronic pain over years. And like you said, it began seven years ago, and it started to get worse. It got to the point to where I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk 3 years ago, and I couldn't stand. So I finally got to the point where I'm just like, hey, listen, I had to use a little bit of profanity, but she's like, hey, you don't have to use profanity with me. And I said, well, I'm profanely going through a lot physically, and it is affecting my mental health. So I think a lot of it is just they want to kind of blanket what are they saying? Well, your symptoms don't seem as bad because you're not having the symptoms that are in our textbook. So therefore, we can't check that box for you to be referred to, XYZ specialist. That's mainly, one of my biggest frustrations with them is not listening, not really hearing in each individual. And that's actually what they're saying that their new model, their business model is that they're, treating us individually. And that's further from the truth, man.
I don't think it can be further than the truth. When I started, like my first visit to the VA, the doctor never looked at me. He looked at his computer the whole time. Just kept shaking his head, and then he said, all right, I got you some prescriptions. I said, prescriptions for what? And then in the mail, I got like a case of drugs. I don't know what these are. So I brought them to the police station and dumped them off. And I didn't know what to do.
I think that's probably the best place. When it's like the lost and found, it's like, listen, these guys are lost, and I found it. I found a piece of what shows why they're lost. That's what happened today. When I first got out of the military, I felt like I was, maybe it's a residual effect, but I felt like I had a really good mindset. I felt like I had done something proud, and that was just the end of that chapter, and I moved on. But over time, the VA was just like, hey, take this SSRI, take this mental health drug. Oh, that didn't work. Try this mental health drug. And me thinking that, they are on my side on this, I'm like, okay, maybe it'll help. But over years, man, I started to become this vegetable, just depending and leaning on these prescription drugs. And I couldn't sleep at one point, so I'm like, oh man, I'm having anxiety about, oh man, I need to take my uh, um, sleep meds. And so then I'm like, oh man, if I miss my SSRIs, and if you skip a day or two, and it's supposed to have negative effects. So, it's the stress and trying to keep up with all these bottles of, prescriptions you got to take every day. And I started to see myself not be interested. And these are drugs that are supposed to help you become more interested in the things that you enjoy doing. And I wasn't exercising. I started to drink more, and I couldn't figure out why. And it just happened to be, I know it was the drugs because I took myself off of them. And once I took myself off of them, the cloud started to, dissipate. So I was really, trying to let them know, like, look, listen, you guys are giving me too many drugs I have to keep up with, and then I'm actually being consistent with them, and I don't think that they're working. Actually, they're making me worse. And so they're looking at me like, oh well, this works for other people, but I'm not other people.
Right.
So that's the thing that I'm dealing with, is just fighting with them, knowing that, okay, well, these are supposed to be drugs that aren't invasive, so they should work for you, and they're working for other veterans, so it should work for you too. And it's just it didn't cut it. So it made my life worse, just not having not having a quality of life that I know that, I've always been a happy person, a very go get it person, man. Go get it.
Definitely.
And I just found myself just sitting there not getting anything.
And that's what I think it turns into this kind of a zombie, I'd like to call it. And
Zombie.
the first time I walked into the VA, not the Misfit Nation, I walked in and I was walking down the hallway, and it was gray. Everything was darkness in that hallway, and all our fellow veterans were just walking like in
Yeah,
this kind of trance, and I couldn't
yeah,
figure it out until the doctor did that, why it was happening.
yeah,
And I said, oh, this is because they're just over prescribing stuff to get you out of there. That's
yeah,
all they're doing is pushing that, like you said before, the textbook. Oh, he has this. Let me check
yep,
the block and see what's going on. All right, we got a caller
yep.
calling in, Bird. Hold on one second. Let's see if we
All
can get
right,
this.
all right.
All right, you're on with the Misfit
Call
Nation.
Philip Blackman. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
All right, you're on with the Misfit Nation. How you doing, Philip?
Hey, what's up, Rich? What's up, Bird? How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Hey, what's up, man?
All right. So, Mr. Bird, what you're going through, and look, I'm, Rich will tell you, I'm real big into mental health. I appreciate mental health, because we don't give enough credence to it. But the thing the thing that struck me out about your story is, good Lord, it sounds so familiar to mine. Right? You're asking veterans you're asking the VA for help. Like, hey, this is my issue, and they take their time and tell you what's wrong with you as if they're walking in your shoes.
Exactly.
Right? So, I had a doctor, for my case, here at the VA in Beaumont, Texas. It's really a satellite VA, really good for Band-Aids and flu shots, but really anything extra, you got to go to Houston, which is, an hour and a half drive. So we use the Mission Act a lot to be seen out in public. So I had a doctor tell me that, hey, Philip needs 2 discs replaced in his neck. And the VA's like, no, nah. We just need to do some physical therapy. We were beyond that point. And, I want to tell you the how you get the VA moving quickly is you call your congressman, and you call your state representative, and you call your senator. Because one thing that the VA never, and here's how fast it works. So when I did a congressional inquiry with my congressman, Dr. Brian Babin, who's also a veteran. The second that he sent up that congressional inquiry, within 2 days, I was on the operating table getting surgery. The VA does not ever want to deal with congresspersons, male or female. They don't ever want to deal with congresspersons mistreating. They don't. When congresspersons hear that veterans are getting mistreated, man, they come out of the woodwork and shit. I'm sorry to say this, Rich, on your show, but shit hits the fan and things get done. Don't let these bastards tell you how you feel, sir. Reach out to your state rep, reach out to Congress. I promise you, things will get done post haste.
Man, I'll do that. I appreciate that, Philip.
Now, Mr. Byrd, I got one more for you. How far away do you live from your local VA? How long does it take you to drive?
I'm about 40 minutes from the Charlotte VA, and then I'm about 45 minutes from the Salisbury one, which is the one over Charlotte.
All right, so Mr. Byrd, I have some really great news for you. Back in 2020, or might have been 2018, I think, but Donald Trump signed in the Mission Act. All right, now if you need to look that up, the MISSION Act, ACT.
Okay.
You meet the criteria. If you live more than 20 minutes, or if you live more than 40 minutes drive to your nearest medical treatment facility, i.e. the VA, you fall under what they call the Community Care Act, right? And what that does, sir, instead of you ever having to work with the VA ever again, you can see nothing but civilian practitioners on the VA's dollar. And that should save you a lot of problems.
That's awesome. I'm taking note of that, so that's why you hear silence right now. But
yes, sir.
Yeah,
well, sir, Rich
will look into that.
Rich has my contact. Rich has my contact, Mr. Byrd. Man, I'm proud of you. You keep your dog tags out of the dirt. Keep moving forward. Keep taking out those targets as you see them. And man, I'm proud of you. I love you. Thank you for your service, both of you gentlemen. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day.
Thanks, brother.
Man, appreciate you, man.
I'm out.
That's Philip D. Blackman of the Philip D. Blackman Show. He comes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 p.m. Central Time. Check him out on YouTube as well.
I definitely will.
So Raymone,
man, I appreciate that plug right there. That's awesome plug.
He's a great dude. A lot of good resources, and he's helped me a lot. He's the one that put me onto this platform right here. So
yeah,
I'm glad he was the one that called in for my first call ever. Thanks, Philip. Everything he said ties into what I was going to try to get you to talk about next. I mean, if you go on Google and you search veterans or veterans issues, the first thing that comes up is 22 a day. Since we both got out in 7 years ago, there's been dozens of groups that have popped up and said, oh, we're going to help and stop this 22 a day, the 22 a day that we're losing, 22 veterans. That's in reference to 22 veterans we lose to suicide each day. I mean, and yesterday, I'll share my screen here. Hopefully I do this right. You'll see this headline here, and it's going to tell you that the VA, once again, veteran suicide rates may be double federal estimates, studies suggest. And this is because they weren't counting drug overdoses or alcohol and induced like accidents and such where veterans died.
Yeah.
But the numbers could be over almost 44 a day. I think it said here, the largest category of overlooked deaths, about 60% of the uncounted cases by the report's estimate concern drug overdoses. So they weren't even counting them. And that's something that, we were just talking about all the drugs they give you, and that just adds to the problem. And you're taking all these bottles of stuff that you don't even know what they are. And then they compound that by, oh, what am I going to do to fight these drugs? I don't know what they are. I'm going to drink, or I'm going to try to find other drugs.
Exactly. And what they don't take into account too is when they send you out to the community, they don't have a way to tie in those records of drugs that they prescribe to you and tie that in with what the VA is prescribing to you. And I realized when I became a part-time caregiver to my mother, they have this computer or software that the nurses use, and they'll plug in each medicine that she takes, and it'll give them a flag if some of them clash with each other or any of them clash with each other. And that's one of the things that I realized that I know the VA has someone who checks you in and makes sure if you have any questions, and they probably do that too, but they don't have a way to tie in what the community is giving you too. And so That's also a danger as well, because I spent many nights waking up with they call paresthesia. I know when I came up as a little boy, we used to say, "Man, my leg fell asleep," when you get that tingling, feeling in your leg. But it's called paresthesia, and I used to wake up with my whole left side of my face like that for about a good couple of weeks, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and a part of me was like, "Man, it's got to be the drugs, man. I'm it's starting to go too far. I'm starting to have adverse effects, and I can't keep doing this."
You're right. I mean, you don't want to keep doing that either, and that kind of makes you lean to, like I said in the beginning, do you feel the darkness? Do you see the darkness? That kind of makes the veteran want to go that way, or anyone, not just veterans, first responders, or even anyone that's gone through trauma out in the world and they're overprescribed something. It makes you just
Mm-hmm.
want to stop. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
deal with this. Why would I want to deal with this all the time if I can just end it right now? And that's not what we
Exactly.
need. That's not what we need from our brothers and sisters. That's not what we need from our brothers and sisters in the community either. We need
Yeah,
everyone to be with us tomorrow and the next day and fight the fight until we can't no more.
that's true. That's true.
So,
Um, I reached out to some friends of mine. We have a group chat, and I told them I was really transparent with them, and I told them, I said, "Look, listen, man, this ain't no suicide letter, but these are some thoughts that I have had just out of the frustration of my healthcare. Just feeling like I am at my wit's end. And that just means that my mental health is dying to something. And if I keep going on this battle without the proper help, then I'll help it. And I think it was really, I just felt good that uh, no matter what corner I look in, I think you said this earlier, I have in every corner, I got someone there, and as we all should, and I'm thankful for that, you know what I mean? But I felt free that I got that little piece off my mind, and I think what I've come to realize over the last couple of years is that what we tend to think about the most, you begin to act on it,
right.
and that goes with anything. That goes with, hey, I want to learn a new hobby. You know what I mean? If you think on that and focus on that, that's what's going to happen. And so I wanted to put that out so that I can stop thinking about it.
Right. And like
Yeah.
when I seen your post today, I had just got home to the house to work from the house for the rest of the day, and I seen that post, and I said, he's doing this for a reason. Let me just text him. There's no sense messaging on Facebook. I was going to text you, make sure you're all right, and if I had to, reach through the phone and choke slam you. But once you answered right away, I knew you were in a bad place, but not in a horrible place yet.
Yeah.
So once I got you, we're chatting a little bit, and I said, look, either make me a video or go live. And when you said you go live, I said, yes, there we go, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
said, just don't make me cry. I don't think I've done that yet, so it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I've shed many tears over this, and I think a part of it is, you talked about my daughters, and I think about how, I'm a father, right? And if I were to see my daughters suffering, I'm gonna do all I can to help,
Right.
and I feel like, uh, me being a God-fearing man, I feel like God is my father, a father figure, and I feel like, man, how can you just let me just sit here and suffer like this? You know what I mean? This long. So I just kind of think of it, the other part though. I'm a logical person, man, and I try to look at things from both sides. And the other part is, maybe my love is being tested, my loyalty is being tested, maybe I'm being tested to see if, I really got God fearing man, like I say, what I mean? And if I am, then, I don't know, which way to lean, but it's tough, not to grow cold. You know what I mean? Like if my kids saw me watching them suffer, they would grow cold against me. Like they would be like, "You piece of crap." And that's kind of where I am. I'm just like, man, like, you piece of crap, you know. How can you let this, how can you let this go on this long? So that has a lot to do with the mental piece, man.
Definitely. And like Philip told you, you'd be proud of everything you've done. Whammy, you put it in the text here in the comments. I don't know if you've seen that when it popped up.
No, I didn't see it.
When you get back here, here we go. This is from Whammy right there. You definitely did something to be proud of, brother. Right there. That's your brother from the desert right there. See that?
That's what's up, man.
Philip came on the phone. He said that as soon as he got on, he said, you've done great things. And then he told you where to get help, right? So,
yeah.
And I think I tell that to you every time I talk to you. You do great things, right? Almost every time we talk, we laugh a lot when we talk on the phone. So it's hard to get a lot of stuff through, but all that stuff we do say that things. And I think it's great that we're able to do those things, and we always have each other's back. And I think that's what helps us as fraternity that we are, or the brothers that we are, to get through a lot of things. And that's why, like I said earlier, as soon as I seen that post, I gotta get in contact with this young man and make sure he's straight now right now before I have to drive to Carolina and help him out, help him in a different way.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Whammy. And Richie, man. I think I can't stress enough. Sometimes you don't want to be a charity case, and I think it's our ego, man. Yep. I hate my ego sometimes, man. I really do. And my ego don't want me to be the person that has to be picked up. But man, I'm telling you, that's a dangerous process, a dangerous, thought to have and carry out, to want to feel like you have to be so strong all the time. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate you, man, the whole MisFit Nation, all my brothers and sisters within that, man. I get them reaching out on Facebook, man. When I make posts, I sometimes, man, my post that I post on Facebook is watered down compared to what, like, I'll have like this whole detailed thing, and I'm like, man, this is not for Facebook, and I'll put it in a journal, and then I'll water it down to, because I tend to go in my little shell when I'm going through, so I'll at least put enough out there to be like, hey man, whoever trying to reach out with some encouragement, or something to pick me up or something, I need that right now. And the Misfits, man, they come through, man. I really, that's one thing I do appreciate this Misfits, man. It's just that from day one, man, we've always been tight, man. We all had something similar in common, one way or the other. And so it was no way you went a sucky day without somebody understanding what you've gone through.
And you check out that chat right there.
Yeah.
But know that we are always here to help, no matter what time of the day. And he also said this just before, that we all think that we can handle it on our own. We hate asking for help. I'm the same way, gents. I'm definitely the same way. I think every one of us is a hard head in that way, that it's easier to struggle than it is to ask for help. I think that's most humans are that way. We don't want to ask for, we don't want to admit that we can't do something on our own. And I think we all got to get out of that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And John Gordon Jr., my cousin, I'm an outsider here, but thank you all for your service. I hope your health gets better soon. Thanks, John.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you, John.
So, Byrd, I know you've had successes over the last few months, especially with your physical health. I seen your transformation the other day.
Yeah.
By what you're going through, what 3 things could you tell a fellow veteran, first responder, person in the community going through the same struggles? What 3 things would you tell them to do to get out of their own way and maybe find that help they need?
One is consistency, and not in this order, y'all, but in consistency, grit. And by the way, it's a shameless plug, man. You told me about to read that book, Grit, and by Angela Duckworth, man. It was
right here on my shelf.
Books. One of the greatest books I've ever read, man. So consistency, grit, and you got to be able to kill your ego. And I know it's easier said than done, but this transformation came from, one, reaching out and asking for help. I've gotten some help from a lot of people in health in the physical health industry who have gone to school and have been certified in, how the body works. And I have taken notes, man, took notes, and they didn't only teach me just so that I can stay or become a consumer, or a client, but a paying client, but they taught me so that I can have tools to reach back in there when I needed it. So those tools helped me be able to at least move. And that's one thing about my physical health, is that it wasn't that I'm doing anything like I ain't in army times, like doing the stuff we was doing, low crawling and pull ups after each meal. I'm not doing any of that. Running 4 miles at 9-minute mile pace. I'm not doing that now. But it's about just moving. And I'll tell you, my movements were, all modified. I'm doing all modified workouts, and that's, and my ego too wants me to be like, oh man, you a soldier, man. You come from the army, man. You can do this, man. Put your head down and get down there and run those miles and do those, push-ups and hit real jumping jacks, and not the women's push-ups. No. And that's just my ego talking. So you got to be able to kill the ego, so you can reach out for help, and then you can also give yourself grace, and then consistency. Move every day. You know what I mean? Like, get a routine going. I had talked to you, I want to say about in the middle of the summer sometime, and I asked you about routine, and that was actually a homework assignment from I think you're going to talk to her, Pinky.
Yeah,
she was like, ask it. Yep. She was like, ask your mentor, someone you look up to the most, and ask them what their routine is. I called you without thinking about it, man. I know who it is. I'm gonna ask them. And you talked about routine, and that's where I say consistency, man. Just come up with a routine and stick to that plan, and stay consistent. So yeah, that's what helped me, man. Get past. I'm still having pain. I still have the pain when I work out. It's just that I'm wiser now on how to move and how to find modifications for a lot of this stuff. That instead of me doing sit-ups, I do what they call the big three, which is basically like planks and dead bugs, or the supine position. So those also help build your abs, and that's what it is, man. My core, I gotta get that stronger so that I can support my back, man. My back is I ain't the same young soldier I used to be. I ain't Sergeant Byrd, man. But yeah, that's it, man. If I could come up with the 3, that would be it.
Definitely. I think Whammy hit this one on the head too. Slow, deliberate movements. We're all getting older,
Yeah.
He never lied about that one. I'm older than all y'all, so I feel everything. I wake up in the morning. I just thank God I'm getting up, and I'm stacking victories as soon as I wake up. So, and
that's it.
I'm glad we're able to get you on here. Next time you get to come on, it'll be for something better than this, and hopefully it'll be something where we were just joking and talking crap about something, and and laughing like we do on the phone calls like every other week or so.
Right.
So those are the best ones to do. So, Byrd, if you have anything else you want to share with the world, or before we get you out of here,
man, I was just gonna say, man, I y'all gotta watch Rich, man. He got me into this is how he got me into running. Actually, he snuck up one on me. I dealt with an ankle injury in the military, and it was really pretty bad. And every day, man, he woke up with me there or not. He was already there. He just said, "You just need to show up for you." And I showed up, man, and it's just, every day my ankle got stronger and stronger. So this is kind of how I'm seeing this. And he kind of snuck one on me. And, being able to, talk this out and having everyone call, people call in and text in, and I see the support, man. It's pretty much the same exact deal. And I appreciate you, man. This band of brothers and sisters is nothing short of amazing. So thank you.
No problem. And I was gonna say, you can't forget your sisters, and we got a bunch of them. Let's keep them in there. And one will receive you as well once she hears this. So so I'll drop you out here, Byrd, and we'll talk in a couple seconds.
All right.
That was a great chat with Byrd. He's not alone in suffering through this. There's many veterans going through it as well. He's just one that's in my family, in my wheelhouse. I had to get him on here to share his story, his triumphs, and his tribulations. So thanks for checking us out. You know we're on. We have like I told you, 494 episodes so far. This will be our live episode. It'll come out. It'll be out as soon as this is over. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com to catch up on all of our episodes and get some of that awesome Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation.
When the sun goes down and the evening rolls around, that's the time I find